Kids, where are you? It's time for all the art to tell stories.
Once upon a time, in a big bustling city, there was a brave and clever fox named Boris. Boris loved exploring the city, trotting through the parks, and making new friends with other city creatures like the chatty pigeons, cheeky squirrels, and wispy alley cats. One fine morning, while Boris was playing hide and seek with his pal, Whiskers the cat, he noticed something unusual. The pigeons, who were usually chirpy and full of stories, were lying still on the ground. Boris sniffed and realized there was something strange in the air. Later that day, Boris overheard a group of humans at the park talking about a dangerous poison spreading around. "It's harming all the wild animals," one of them exclaimed worriedly. Boris's heart sank. He couldn't bear the thought of his animal friends getting hurt. It was then that Boris decided he had to put an end to this dangerous menace. With determination in his eyes, Boris set out on a mission. He began with the local park ranger, a kind lady called Miss Thompson, who knew a lot about the city's natural environment. Miss Thompson told Boris, "I'm worried about this too. I believe someone is making this poison and selling it in the dark corners of the city." Boris nodded, understanding the task before him. The city had many dark alleys and hidden corners, bustling with mysterious activities. His first stop was the alley behind Mr. Goodley's groceries. There lay a network of creatures who knew the city's secrets like the back of their paws. He met Murray the mole, who had sharp eyes and excellent hearing despite living underground. "I've heard whispers," Murray said quietly. "There's a gang that meets at the old warehouse by the docks." Boris thanked Murray and headed off to the docks. On arrival, he spotted shadows creeping along the walls. Boris tiptoed closer, hiding behind some blue barrels. A tough-looking raccoon named Ringo seemed to be in charge. "The boss wants another delivery by tomorrow," Ringo sneered, handling a small pouch. Boris knew this pouch was the source of the poison. Feeling a mix of anger and worry for his friends, Boris realized he needed to be clever. He couldn't just pounce and defeat them all, he needed proof and a plan. With help from his most trusted friends, Whiskers, Murray, and a smart crow named Celia, they formulated a plan to catch the gang in action. Whiskers and Celia watched from high above in a tree. Murray and Boris stayed hidden nearby. That night, while the gang gathered to discuss their next moves, Boris and his friends set off a plan they called Operation Hidden Justice. Celia flew up high and cawed loudly, signaling Miss Thompson and a group of concerned humans. Before the gang could realize, the humans arrived with flashlights, catching the group red-handed. The police, who had been alerted by Miss Thompson beforehand, quickly took control of the situation. With the gang caught, the city was safe again, and Boris's heart felt light with relief. The animals could now roam freely without the constant fear of the poison. His city friends, the squirrels, pigeons, and alley cats, all cheered for Boris, calling him a hero. Boris felt proud but knew the real heroes were those who helped him. In his heart, he realized that sometimes brave actions were not just about strength, but about care, clever teamwork, and the courage to stand up for what is right. And so, the city flourished once again under the watchful eye of its furry guardian, Boris, the fox. Boris could feel the distress coursing through the core of the earth. Subtle vibrations, invisible to others, pulsed through his veins as though he was connected to the very soul of the planet. This strange ability, simultaneously a gift and a burden, set Boris apart in more ways than one. The global attention was now focused on AeonTech, a colossal multinational corporation with groundbreaking ambitions to combat climate change. Their latest project, LuminaTech, promised to deploy massive geoengineering technology intended to lower global temperatures by reflecting sunlight back into space. On paper, it was a savior's dream for a warming world. but Boris felt the Earth crying. The preliminary tests had already begun somewhere in a remote Pacific location. Unbeknownst to the public, the experimental phases were causing disturbances detectable only by the Earth's most sensitive beings. Birds were flying erratically, animal migrations were disrupted, and seismic activities were mysteriously spiking without tectonic explanations. Boris sat in his modest apartment, a dozen monitors flickering with data streams dotted with warnings only he could decipher. His fingers danced over a keyboard as emails filled with concerns spilled from environmentalists around the world, none knowing of the impending doom masked by promises of cooling temperatures. "We need to stop this," Boris murmured to himself, though he knew hesitation was not an ally. He called a meeting in the virtual sphere, gathering a clandestine coalition of scientists, activists, and indigenous elders who understood the symbiotic bond between Earth and its inhabitants. In the coming days, the coalition executed a dual strategy plan. First, they aimed to collect hard evidence of the destabilizing effects of LuminaTech to present to the international community. Second, Boris orchestrated a digital strike, hoping to infiltrate AeonTech's data systems, exposing potential cover-ups. The tension mounted. Every moment counted as the LuminaTech operations continued, its clock ticking towards irreversible ecological collapse. The Alliance had to act swiftly. Meanwhile, Boris continued to listen. Each day, the Earth's cries grew louder, a symphony of distress begging for respite. In one desperate moment, he felt an epiphany, a message from the Earth illustrating a natural solution: revitalizing ancient ecosystems long neglected could harmonize the climate anew. Boris conveyed this message to the coalition, igniting a spark of hope amidst despair. The gathering of elite brains and ancient wisdom converged into a daring plan emphasizing restoration over manipulation. As the evidence against AeonTech mounted, an emergency summit was called. Nations gathered, pressured by the undeniable consequences that were now being revealed. Boris, speaking through the coalition's spokesperson, presented the Earth's natural remedy. Amidst the crowded global stage, public opinion began to swing. Questions turned to demands for transparency. AeonTech's initiative faced mounting resistance. With both reliance on evidence and an alternative path forward, trust in natural restoration blossomed. In the closing scenes of a fraught chapter in Earth's continuing saga, Boris found solace. As operations of destructive intent were halted, the vibrations of gratitude from the Earth resonated through him. In the end, it was not just a victory for the planet, but a testament to humanity's potential to lead with empathy rather than conquest.
If you like our stories, please like, subscribe, and turn on the little bell, so you won't miss exciting stories every day. You are also welcome to share it with family and friends to listen to the story together. Love you.